welcome to the Preschool All-Stars podcast. I'm Bethany Johnson, and I'm joined today by Victoria Hackett. How are you doing, Victoria?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Of course, we're excited to hear your story. First, I always like to get a little backstory. So what was going on? What's your background before you decided to embark on this preschool journey?
So I have always had an education background. I taught early childhood and ended up teaching teachers. I taught at a local community college, early childhood development and child growth and development and all that, foundations of early childhood. Then I had my own children. And so when my own children were in preschool and kindergarten, that we had an outdoor space there, and I started an outdoor classroom there. So that sort of gave birth to what I'm doing now. But during that time, it was really, I was struck by how many kids had never planted anything in the ground. So I'm the founder now of outdoorclassrooms.com. So I inspire teachers to teach outdoors and create nature-based curriculum and all of that. So that's what I've been doing. And that came from when I had my parent hat on and started that outdoor classroom. So I have always wanted to create my own demonstration garden, sort of thought, that it was always an idea in the back of my mind. Mm-hmm. So then here we are.
Wow, that's really cool. Outdoorclassrooms.com. So do you offer a curriculum, or you give kind of guidance to parents or other teachers who are looking for that stuff?
Yeah, so a lot of my work is to inspire teachers and parents to create their own outdoor classrooms on kind of on a shoestring budget. So I run online workshops, and I do in-person workshops and all over that spectrum, but had never kind of had taking that idea and had my own outdoor classroom with real children. So
that's really cool. Our preschool garden we've planted a couple times, and gosh, I'm just not a very good gardener, and it hasn't done well. And I had big dreams of like this amazing preschool garden, and we planted stuff, and then
well, that's the thing. It doesn't have to be food. That's a lot of my work. It can be gardens that I created 4 different types of gardens that attract wildlife, gardens as outdoor learning stations, and gardens that feed, and gardens for art and beauty. So there are many different spectrums that you can use.
I'm gonna have to check all of that out. How did you stumble across joy?
I have no idea how it just, when things are supposed to be, they just appear. And I was trying to think of when it actually was, but she just came into my world at the right time, because I started looking at what she was doing, and I said, this is what's been in the back of my mind for so long, was to actually create a space where children could come, and we could create the kind of a demonstration outdoor classroom, so to speak, and then run trainings as well here. So, and that's exactly what's happened. So I think I just saw her get up and go attitude. And I think the first thing I did was I secretly started cleaning out my garage.
Yeah, I know how that is. That's what I did too.
Well, my husband and I secretly, and then I transformed that into, I said, well, if we're going to be doing this, I need to practice what I preach, which we needed some sort of shelter. So we use it as the clubhouse. And so now we have a bay of our garage as our clubhouse. And then we have our gardens. We call it the Secret Gardens Nature Preschool program. So it's a parent-child program, and we've got 5 families, and it's up and running, and people are calling and interested. And what I like about it also is it's a parent-child program, so parents are really seeing ideas that they can use for their backyards and things that they can create. So
yeah, we haven't had anyone that does a parent-child program, so I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, it's been really, I love it because it's I think, yeah, because they get to sort of see, and their kids are young, so they get to be with them and participate and really connect with nature alongside of their children. So it's been
that's really cool. How did you find your clients? Did you do a found your family script?
I did I actually had a colleague of mine, she initially gathered a group of parents from her world. And so I offered a few free classes for them. And then some of them left and some of them stayed. And then I did kind of the founding families script. And then I did a little flyer. I didn't but it was sort of more, I didn't even have to go around and do them, because then I was sort of like, winter, I don't want to do too many classes in the winter. So, but come spring, we're going to be open. It's just the best part of my week. So come spring, I will be opening up more classes.
Awesome. What's your class schedule like now? What will it be like, I guess, as you expand?
So I think it's a morning program. So they come in the morning. I think I'll just add additional mornings. I think I'm sort of debating whether I'll have a morning and an afternoon and make it just that type of program. I think I have to sort of survey my community first before I make that. But I think at the moment, if I would do a couple mornings, because mornings seem to be a good time for this age group.
How long is your class?
It's only an hour. So it's an hour. And then, I think just because they're young and it's a parent-child program, it's a very structured, but a lot of play. So it's a lot of different, so we do our morning hello, and then we have a bunch of different activities that they do outside. And then we have a mud kitchen and a big eagle's nest that they've made. We have a makerspace garden. We have a vegetable garden. So there's a lot of different secret gardens that they can kind of explore when they're out there. So I've debated whether to sort of extend the time, but it seems to work out perfectly now. And then say it again.
Is it once a week?
It's once a week now, because we are in the middle of New England winter. So, but I think, if I had more, that's the thing. I'm like, it's pretty we haven't missed a day for weather. So they've been hardy. They're in their snow pants and they're ready to go. And it's incredible. So, and then what's neat is I'm also taking this demonstration garden and sharing that with classes that I teach online to adults. And so that's been a really wonderful addition to what I was already doing. So,
so how are you looking? How do you think you're going to get more families in the spring? What's your plan for that?
I think I will continue with the flyer. I made a great flyer, which was fantastic. I think I will consider, even in the summer, running some mini camps. I have to sort of figure out. And I think a lot of word of mouth. I think that's already starting to happen, which has been like a godsend. It's sort of, this word of, so that's sort of already happening. Even just the other day I had another woman inquire. I wasn't sure if she wanted sort of a drop-off situation. But for now we're going to do the parent child and then go from there.
Yeah. And how much do you charge?
I started off with, it was $9.90 for a 6-week session. So I charge every 6 weeks. So it's a 6-week session. And I did a founding members price for our founding members. I've just upped that price because now I figured, okay, we've got our 5 founding families. That's it. Now we're going to increase the prices. So, that's, I did with the initial.
So you have your child, you don't have to worry about licensing.
I don't want to worry about that.
And do you have like a big, huge plot
plan? We are very
plan?
lucky. We have our house is actually an old historic house. So it's got a detached garage, and it used to be an old clubhouse. So we're using our front yard as our space, which is really great because it's right, our detached garage, a bay of that is used as the clubhouse. And then it's got a lot of sort of nooks and crannies where kids can go and play and explore, and like behind the garage, it's a whole nother vibe. And so it works. It's not huge land, but it's perfect for this. I thought about doing it on the other side of the house, which is in the backyard, but it's almost too big. So this provides accessibility because they can park and so on and so forth. So it's the space is ideal. I feel really lucky because I don't have to look for a space. I can create the space as I go. And we have a great room, which I hope to do trainings in as well. So for educators and parents and stuff. So
awesome. What do you think the benefits are offering a parent and child program as opposed to just working with the kids?
I think about that a lot. I think, they really want to have a drop off, and, then maybe I could spend more time with them. But I really can see there's an education piece that's going on with the parents. They're like, oh, wow, I never thought of that. There's all these sort of aha moments that are happening. They're like, oh, wow. And so then they think about doing that at home and having them there. We've done so many wonderful projects, and the kids have really been involved, but then they can take that project home and carry it on. And especially with COVID, there's been such a void in terms of we have one child who says, this is it. This is our social. This is what we do during the week. And when we're not here, we're talking about what we did here. So we did some pretty neat experiments and different things that they can take home and do. And that just feels really awesome. And I think with Joy's program, I'm looking forward to just dabbling into, well, could this be an online program? How would I do that if it was a nature-based program online? So I'm like, that's in the back of my mind. It's not ready to come forward yet, but it's back there.
I was thinking about, first of all, I think that's such an awesome idea, and I would love to do something like that. Not in the freezing cold in the dead of winter, because I'm not hardcore enough for that. But like here in Vegas, where it's 75 out right now, I would love to go when my baby's a little older and take something like that. One, because I'm terrible at gardening, and I don't want to be terrible at gardening, but also because I want to get him into nature, and I just want those bonding experiences that take place outside of the house in nature, where we can learn about all that.
And they're learning together. I mean, that's what I love is they're learning together. So it's a little tricky because it's with so many people. So if you have 5 kids, you also have 5 adults. So that's 10 people. So it's in terms of getting an abundance of kids, I'm sort of playing with that, but 5 feels like a really good number. But then I'm like, oh, well, we could add sessions, it's only an hour. So
it's only an hour. We can have so many sessions, it's only 1 day a week. So
it's only 1 day a week so far. So
as much as you want, it's up to you. And you could even do I'm thinking of homeschool groups for older kids, a gardening club for older kids, or
an art was, so and it's just sort of set up. I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about it, but it's set up in a way that it can expand in so many ways. But again, we are the challenges of winter. I mean, it's not challenges, it's I teach this, so it's sort of embracing the winter. But I figured if you're going to start a program, we'll just start with our baby steps. But it's I can see already that and even the parents are like, oh, this is the best thing. So there
so many possibilities there for you.
Yes. And then the kids were coming saying, oh, Victoria, you're the best teacher. Just that heartwarming, wonderful that you get from them. So it's been wonderful. And Joy's energy and can-do attitude. I think I was watching something, but I just remember thinking, let's just go paint the garage. And I think that energy came from Joy. So it was, before I knew it, it was done, and we made this really awesome space. So it's kind of neat to
that's so cool. And so you're still teaching at the college? Right?
I'm not at the college. I'm now full-time with outdoorclassrooms.com. So I teach teachers, I create master classes, I have workshops.
And then you have all this
so I have all this. So everything I'm doing, so everything I'm doing out with the kids is then gets transferred in. I have a membership community, which we're all supporting each other.
That's awesome.
So,
I mean, you could definitely add in online classes to that step too. We have a couple ladies I know who are doing like, they go to different parks and do outdoor and
yeah.
online classes. So you could
So
definitely
I have
do
to
that.
figure out how that's how I'm because I do online classes for the adults, but I have to figure out how to tie it in with being outdoors with the kids. So
I'm sure it could. I mean, there's so many possibilities, but women are doing it, and it could. You already have so much stuff set up that it probably wouldn't be too hard to just tweak one little thing, and
yeah,
have your theme, your niche right there.
yeah, that's what I got because
Niche.
it's been great. I mean, it's all outdoors, which is, you know, again, it sounds like an hour is not a very long time, but it's just enough to, when you go back inside, you feel really good because it's that crispy air. And
you can even, I mean, as these kids, what age group is that you're
so
calling?
we have a few like 2.5-year-olds or even almost threes to 4.
Okay.
So
you can always do like a kindergarten class, and
yeah,
I'm sure they're still going to want to do the class, you know, even once they're 5 or whatever. So just like kind of do the next age group as they go.
yeah,
and
yeah,
friends to come, and you already got the clients. It's awesome.
yeah. And a lot of them, say it again.
Go ahead.
Oh, a lot of them have little siblings as well. And so their older siblings also are wanting to come. They want to skip school and come to our Secret Gardens preschool. So
there you go. There you go. They're siblings. That's where you get them. Siblings
yeah.
and friends. Yep. How has being in the Preschool All-Stars helped you figure out your program?
I think it gave me the confidence. I mean, I have the confidence because I've sort of been doing it, but it kind of pushed me off the ledge and said, stop thinking, just do it. So I think, and then seeing everybody else doing it, I'm like, oh, well, I've done this. So it was almost like it was there. And then I opened the floodgates and everything came out. So it was this, and then seeing what other people are doing and support and all that stuff. So,
did you have the idea to do this and then you found joy, or did you find joy and then you're like, oh, I could do that. I could do this. Which one came first?
I had the idea, and I thought, oh, I'll do it in my backyard. I sort of had this whole, then I was like, but I didn't have it wasn't formulated. And then it was like, and then I don't know even how Joy came into the picture, but she appeared. She appeared and I'm like, huh. And so then it really formulated it for me. I mean, it's been an idea for a long, long time. Say it again.
Did you do a 30-day challenge to figure out your idea?
I'm sorry, I missed it again.
Oh, did you do a 30-day challenge?
I did the 30-day challenge. I did that. I, was going through the whole process and I'm like, you know what? I've got this. I've got a lot of these things already. So that it was like this aha moment of, why aren't I doing this? Why didn't I do this before?
What do you think your biggest roadblock has been?
So far, I think initially I thought, oh God, I'm not gonna be able to find anybody, because my friend had collected all these people, and then there were like 7 families, and then some of them said, oh, we can't do it, and then they didn't come, and so we had like 3 families, and then so we still ran it, and we had such a wonderful time. And I'm like, well, what if someone doesn't come? It's only 2, and then then I thought, oh, I'm like, well, then I kept seeing everybody in All Stars. Well, I'm like, they're getting people, so I've got to up my game. So I tried a little harder in terms of trying to find folks, and it worked. So then, so I think it's just a matter of doing it. I think that was the biggest, yeah, I think I was very worried about finding folks and really thinking.
I think that's everyone's biggest fear. It's like, I'm going to build this thing and no one will come.
No one will come. Where are they? And then all of a sudden, then there's this sort of like, oh, it's so great. And then And then I got worried, oh, we're going to get too many people, because I didn't want to advertise too much, because, oh, we'll have too many. And then how can we figure it out? And it's just interesting. I think what's going to happen come spring, because maybe a lot of parents don't want to sit outside for an hour with their kid, which is that.
I wouldn't want to. It's too cold.
That dawned on me. I'm like, maybe it's the parent.
The kids don't care about the cold.
The kids don't care. I think it might
I'd
be
be like, sorry, hon. In the spring, I'll join you at your class.
maybe it's the parent. So I think come spring, when I open up the classes, I think I'm hoping there will be a robust,
Yeah,
and
totally.
then,
Well, you already got the word of mouth and the setup and everything, so it'll be a lot.
yeah, the
easier.
setup that we've got it all figured out. So, and then
Are you
once
gonna
that
use
happens,
the same curriculum and plan, or are you gonna change it up, because it'll probably be repeating families, I would imagine same families come back.
right. So if it's that, so that's I was actually thinking about that today. I said, oh, it would be so great if it's a completely different groups of families, and I can just repeat the same thing each day. If it's not, then I would have to come up with probably, I have it because it's only one day a week, and we've had a lot of snow. I tend to do like a million snow. So I would probably not be so aggressive in terms of how much I'm offering, because I just get overly excited about, let's do all these things. So I sort of put a lot of things out. But I think that
they like wander to, is it like self-guided, or and there's some group stuff, or are you all together as a group? You're teaching, like you're making a project together, or are they kind of doing their own thing with guidance?
That's a great question. So we start with a hello circle type of thing, whether we do that outside or in our clubhouse. But we start with a little song and if we don't do, they have a little sign in. So they come in and they have a little basket of rocks, and they put their rock in the sign in. So they do that. We sing our song, and then we usually do like a art project together. Everything is optional, but it just sort of we kind of naturally do something. So that can be the tables are either outside or in the clubhouse, depending on what the weather's like. And then I'll put a lot of different things that are out. So again, they can, sometimes we'll move to that together, but other times we won't. So, so I'll have different sort of stations where they could go. And I'm trying to do more of that. Like we don't all have to travel to these places all together. And so, and then they'll play. We have all the different areas where they can sort of move to. This makerspace garden, which is wonderful, and then the nest and the clubhouse. We make miniature houses and all sorts of fun little areas where they can. Yeah, it's so wonderful. I'm so blessed with this space. So, and then once that's all over with, they can, then we kind of come together as a whole, as a group, and then we sing our goodbye song. So then we'll read it. Sometimes we'll read a story. Sometimes we'll do like a closing activity, depending on the weather and the mood and the time and how much we did out during our, where the.
So ideally, what would be your 5-year plan for this business?
Oh, wow. My 5-year plan would be, I guess, to have this space to really be truly an ideal demonstration outdoor classroom, where I'm running, I'd love to put like all my other stuff, like outdoor classrooms and everything kind of more automatic, so I could actually be spending more time outside in the classes. So it might be, again, what you were saying, like a mix of these parent-child programs. It might be a mix of like an art class for older kids. It could be a mix of all that kind of weeks of summer camp, but balancing. There's so many. So, but balancing that with, what I'm teaching online to even the teachers, but then kind of trying to figure out where that online preschool, if that sort of fits into the model. But
you can even hold like retreats and have all the teachers come to you. And
I know that's my dream is to we're currently getting our bathroom fixed. So I have this retreat, but I'm thinking, okay, would it be for I mean, one of the parents said, I just want to be you. Can you train me to be you? Because I want to do an outdoor.
Educational nature center.
I know. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be so cool.
Education Nature Center. So it's, so that would be pretty much to have folks, and I have this sort of international community at outdoor classrooms, and people have like we want to come down and see you. And I'm like, what? At that point, I didn't have anything for them to see. So
yeah, you're getting it set up. And then you can train them to be you, and then you can pay them to teach. And then then you got even more stuff going on.
Yeah. So it's figuring that all out. So
really cool. Wow. So what would you say to any other ladies who are kind of wondering what their next step is, wondering if they should take on some journey like this? What would you say to them?
I would say just do it. Don't get out of your head and get out of the I can't do it, and get into taking one baby step a day. One step, baby, very small step. Don't think in crazy, like, oh, take one very simple, even painting my garage, it was like, I'm just going to do this wall.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a mess. So you don't even want to know what it looked like. It was a mess. So I think, one baby step at a time, and just find what your passion is. And again, mine is working outdoors in nature and creating a nature-based program, because there's so much magic that happens. And then when you're creating your outdoor space, if they're interested in doing outdoor, is to even think about, create those little gardens, create those little learning stations, and do one, again, there's nothing like it's one step at a time. And then all those steps put together is a big leap. And then have someone push you off the cliff and said, okay, you can do the really hard stuff.
Yes, yeah. Man, I'm working on baby steps right now for my online one. And Joy has already told me like 3 times in the past 24 hours, she's like, do the training one step at a time. Right now, even though I'm like, I'm not going to do everything right now, but I'm still trying to do everything right now. And like, without even realizing, I'm like, I got to do baby steps. It's so hard for me to do baby steps. I don't know. I just want to get everything done because I have so many ideas. I just want to make all of them happen right now. And I can't do that.
Yeah.
Baby steps is hard.
Baby steps is hard.
Yeah.
And then it's easy to get into overwhelm, but I think just taking those baby steps, whatever it is, but creating that vision and then going for it.
Yes, totally. Woo, wow, I'm excited to see what happens with you, because I just think that and I definitely want to catch back up with you next year on an update episode and see what you've made your educational learning center into, nature center. Can't wait.
Oh, that sounds great.
What happens. Yeah, and good luck with everything. And thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to meet you.
You too. You have a great.
If you loved today's episode, then you are going to love this. I want to give you a free gift in your hands. This is a copy of my book, Start Your Preschool, and I want to get it to you for free. Yes, I said for free. It is a 300-page book. It'll help you learn the step-by-step process to actually starting your local or your online preschool. Every single step that I walked myself through, as well as the thousands of women who've created their own successful preschools, have gone through the exact steps listed in this book. Not to mention, I also share 20 amazing women's stories, so you can see how not only did it work for me, but it works for amazing women just like you as well. I want to get you this free copy. Just go to freepreschoolbook.com or click the link in the description and we'll get it to you today. Again, just go to freepreschoolbook.com and we'll get it right to you.